when an unexplained phone video emerged online, featuring recordings and private chats that purported to disclose that Erica Mena's whole life was upended by rumors that Yandy Smith Harris was having a hidden affair. Late at night, fans were astonished by Yandy's friendship with Erica's ex-husband as the leak began to spread. Suddenly everyone was talking about the deleted texts and the hidden late-night phone talks. And cryptic voicemails revealed a connection nobody had imagined. Imagine Erica gazing through her phone, her pulse beating, and her eyes enlarging as she comprehends the gravity of what she is experiencing. Meanwhile, Yandy remains quiet on social media and nowhere to be found. Friends and co-stars sought to figure out what the scandal meant. The family was torn when recordings of Yandy, Erica's ex, emerged online, seeming to laugh together over what looked to be a private supper and photograph that aired despite what Yandy had publicly declared. Emotions ran high. Every communication emoji and late-night chat is now examined. Everyone wonders whether there is proof or if this is just another bogus rumor. One thing is evident as the drama progresses: Erica, Yandy, and the mystery person at the center of this. The catastrophic leak will never be the same. The bulk of Atlanta's reality stars were already in bed when the leak. Erica Mena opted to glance at her old phone since she was restless at the time. I couldn't get rid of a continuous nagging notion that everything, even a secret museum she had forgotten about, had copied onto her iPhone via a persistent update. She stumbled upon a folder labeled unknown while scrolling. The moniker seemed benign, but it was a treasure mine of explosive letters. When she checked screenshots of late-night messages between a contact called J and Yandy Smith Harris, she gasped. The exchange began innocently enough, with pleasant welcomes and lighthearted conversation, but it rapidly became something Erica never would. I thought Erica's fingers were trembling when she touched the first picture, which displayed the time stamp on 217A. Yandy texted, "I can't stop thinking about you." A responder replied, "Meet me at the 12th Street Diner." Beneath it, Erica's pulse quickened. She had trusted Yandy like a sister for years. The thought of treachery made her stomach flip. A foggy image of Yandy and the mysterious J beaming over coffee. Erica knew the place. As seen in the image below, it was the same booth where she used to go on dates. Her heart hammered as she discovered J represented Erica's ex-husband, Denzel Stokes. Every day might bring unexpected news, but Erica never anticipated to find herself in the heart of such a controversy. She listened to a scratchy yet unmistakable voicemail. Denzel's soothing voice muttering, "You're so beautiful." Her laughter mixing with murmured vows. Every message was a breach of her trust, and every photo reminded her of a marriage. Tears blurred her eyes, but her rage was more intense. She was conscious that she needed to tell this, but how? Even if it was late and the act she performed alone. When Erica arrived at the Love and Hip the following morning, her normally vivacious exuberance had been replaced with a steely resolution. She went into her caravan, breathed deeply, and then contacted a dependable producer. Her voice was quiet. She said, "I have something you need to see. We must remove the video." The producer's response was a combination of delight and fear. "What is it? Is it serious?" Erica didn't think twice. "It's Yandy. Are you aware of the rumors? They are real, and I have screenshots." Word had begun to flow among the team. By the time Erica's makeup was completed, "Have you seen Erica's face? And something important is coming," resonated over the hallway. On set, Yandy appeared looking lovely, designer pants and a white shirt, her grin concealing any signs of the coming. Despite the tension that was growing around her, she offered her co-stars a sitting opposite from her. Kirk Frost saw Erica's furiously flashing eyes. "Are you all right?" he inquired quietly. Yandy forced a smile and nodded, "I'm doing terrific." Waiting for my close-up, Kirk glanced at her with a rising sensation of uneasiness. I had noticed her agitated phone glances recently, a silence that was out of character for her, normally exuberant. With a producer carrying a tablet in hand, Erica walked discreetly, approached Yandy's dressing room, waiting for cameras to run on the morning's first scene, which was a promotional short advertising scheduled spin-offs. The initial snapshot that revealed Yandy's late-night text inviting Denzel to a secret rendezvous. Yandy glanced up with a tinge of perplexity, provoked by the producer tapping the screen. Erica was stopped by Erica, whose voice was full with accusations. "What is this?" Sensing the tension, the audience in the studio became quiet, while the staff gasped. The genial host, sitting nearby, leaned forward. Curious, Kirk jumped up quickly. "Show me." The producer swiped to show a series of photographs, including every enigmatic shot of Yandy and Denzel taken around on. Every late-night text background paparazzi moments were masked with subtitles, hinting covert meetings, and Yandy's breathing quickened and her hands shook as she whispered, "This is a mistake, Kirks." Yandy's face became white. "What are you saying he asked. Erica's lips formed a hollow grin. Stop playing ridiculous. Sent these everything was visible on my phone. As the cameras rolled and caught each agonizing answer, she lifted iPad and said, "You assumed I wouldn't know. Did you suppose I would let my buddy to steal my marriage, Yandy?" Wiped away her tears, her voice stumbling. "I apologize, Erica, it was meant to be. I had no intention of hurting you, but the tears didn't reduce the effect." Kirk felt a surge of treachery as his attention darted between Erica and Yandy. For how long has this been going on? Yandy took a deep breath as his emotions were fierce. And his voice broke. "It all started last summer when Kirk and I began. Denzel was there to hear. And he was a buddy. Then something happened that I had no intention of being." Erica chuckled cruelly. "You deceived my family and me," she pointed accusingly at Yandy with her finger. "I imagined you were in love with Kirk. I felt that we were linked." Yandy's sobbing got more passionate. "I still like Kirk, but I felt alone and wanted someone." Denzel was present. She gave Kirk a short glance. "Please understand." Kirk blanched. "You get it? You used our children's future for your own selfish," concludes Yandy, a professional anchor in the heart of turmoil. The presenter went closer. "We are portraying this because fans are entitled to transparency. We want to understand how Denzel fits into this triangle as well as Andy and Kirk." Erica added another voice note when the cameras focused on Denzel's smooth voice, whispering, "Come see me tonight." As the tape ended, the crowd and personnel let out hushed gasps. Yandy bit her lip. "It sounds worse than it was, at times. We simply spoke and did nothing else. He made it simpler for me to cope." Erica's eyes were flaming. "Managing. You were hiding from Kirk, eating pancakes in diners, and meeting him at midnight. Why isn't that betrayal?" A whispered word went around, and the family was split apart. "You see, Kira buddies were contacted by fans at home. Yandy is in danger on stage." Emotions were running high. Rita appeared. When she heard the noise, she rushed backstage and said, "What's going on, girls?" she inquired, peering between Yandy and Erica. Erica turned and leveled the allegation in a spotlight-like fashion. "Yandy has been having an affair with Erica's ex-husband Denzel," revealed Rita. Her face distorted in horror. Kirk grabbed hold of her hand. "I sorry so much, Rita. I had no clue." Her voice was thick as she shook her head. "I told him." Yandy apologized as tears streamed down her cheeks. "I had trust in both of you. I had no intention of hurting you." Rita's voice wavered. "Sorry doesn't address the situation." She wheeled away, looking for a tranquil corner. Joker placed his arm around Rita just in time to watch his wife's reaction. He whispered, "I'm here." "Sweetie," with tears in her eyes, she shook her head. "How can I cope with how can I trust anybody now with the children?" With frosty eyes, Erica saw repercussions content. That her truth had come to light. She approached Yandy, still furious, but softened. "Now I am aware of your discomfort, however. My ex Denzel was the one who swore he would assist me." Erica gazed around the cast, letting her words soak in. "We are superior to this." Social media comments were burning on the display behind them. "How does Rita delete it from the broadcast? Erica is the true MVP and Yandy is a disaster." Fans were intrigued by as the evening continued. Denzel published a statement that said, "I'm heartbroken." The presenter said, "I never believed this would be televised. I want peace to both families. I'm sorry, Yandy." Denzel texted, and the cameras saw Yandy's phone light up. "I have to leave town." She gazed at it while her children's faces flickered across her memory. What did I do?" she mumbled. Kirk approached Denzel silently. Kirk's tone was one of frigid wrath. "You damaged a family to enhance your own ego. You took advantage of my wife's vulnerability." Denzel stared him in the eyes. His face was etched with remorse. "I apologize. I would undo it if it were possible." Kirk tightened his fist. With her own tears unshed, Erica walked to Yandy's side and provided a handkerchief. "It's time to accept reality. There is a cost." With a broken voice, Yandy accepted the offer. Cast sources reported that the evening closed with Kirk following after Yandy as he exited the stage. Jake consoled his wife while Rita sat in startled silence. "I never wanted to be the bearer of this news, but loyalty and truth matter," Erica stated in a video as daylight approached. She posted on social media, "I hope Rita heals and Andy finds a way to turn his life around." Comments came in, with some complimenting her bravery and others the controversy raged about whether Erica was a villain or a hero. Backstage, the crew murmured to one another that they were astonished. One cameraman said, "I've never seen such raw passion. This will be the talk of reality television for months." Someone else responded. With her head raised high, Erica walked off the scene. She prepared herself for the maelstrom that would follow by researching headlines, interviews, and gossip websites. But for the time being, the truth had been revealed and nothing would be the same. Yandy couldn't sleep that night because of Erica's allegation, Kirk's quiet betrayal, Rita's weeping and her shakiness. Wendy walked downstairs as the sun was coming up to find her children, replaying everything in her mind, already awake. Their small faces were full of enthusiasm for breakfast and school. She smiled falsely, her voice scratchy as she murmured, "Good morning, my loves." They swarmed around her foolishly, inquiring about pancakes and cartoons. Her mind were racing as she made breakfast and swallowed the lump in her throat. How would she address them when they just knew that her mother was in trouble? Rita spent the morning lugging a duffel bag across town. The tears stopped running down her cheeks as the moonlight came in through the window. In an effort of self-preservation, grief, and rage, she erased every as she looked at the photo of Yandy on her phone. She realized how much history they shared. Blank screen. She brushed her fingers over a fading image of her and Yandy smiling and holding hands on a beach. Friendship felt like a thing of the past. Just before daybreak, Kirk arrived to Wendy's home and found her, and his countenance was fraught with dread as he stood at the entrance. "Yandy," he mumbled. Her eyes were crimson. Eyes as she turned. "Don't," he whispered. "I'm not able to do this today." She swiped at her tears. His voice trembled as he replied, "It was worse than I thought." To hear Erica's voice, "I noticed those messages I ought to have." Yandy shook his head. "We both made mistakes, however. I'm frightened of losing my children." Kirk softly brought her into his hug. "Together, we'll solve this." But Yandy nodded and sobbed, resting her face on Raquel Rashida's bosom. Sister arrived early to her place. She hammered on the door till a puffy Rashida opened it. Raquel entered and brought her in his arms. "I looked at everything on the internet. Are you all right?" Rita's shoulders shook. "I'm in a nasty dream." Well escorted her over to the sofa. "You're free to stay here till you're ready. I'll take care of everything at home." Rita nodded appreciatively. "But vapid, I'm grateful," she whispered. She looked blankly at the wall, wondering how she could erase a life in one night. Meanwhile, Erica had been working through the night on an emotional video message. She clicked the record button on her phone in the morning with a heart, but she started in an emotive voice. "I know that releasing those messages will hurt many people, but loyalty and truth mattered more. I apologize for the anguish, but I stand by what I did." When secrets are after uploading it on social media, she closed her eyes and waited for the storm. Erica's phone was swamped with alerts in less than half an hour from some followers. Appreciation and criticism erupted in the comments area. Truthfully, the film was captured by tabloids, who exploited it to print headlines like "Yandy steps down from program following secret affair." And Erica's daring admission splits cast. Erica's agent contacted and warned her to limit her usage. Erica took a deep breath, knowing there was no going back but wanting she could hide from the mayhem. The remainder of the cast convened for an emergency meeting on the set. The presenter chatted what they said in a pressured tone. "We're delaying the shoot till today. We need to regroup. Yandy segments are on hold," a producer said after studying the notes. "We will reschedule after everything is sorted." Rita sat on a chair for cosmetics and looked down at her phone. Jock wrapped his arm over her shoulders and joined her in quiet. "I dialed the children's school. They'll understand your tardiness today." Rita nodded, her eyes shining. Kirk was seated next to an empty chair belonging to Yandy in an adjacent caravan. "I'm thankful," she whispered. Glanced at the door, expecting he may see her coming in any second. But she never showed up. He wondered whether his kids were aware of the pressure that was flowing in the family. He felt a lot of guilt since he had betrayed his vows of friendship, loyalty, and family unity. The weight was too great for Rita to manage, so she was taken to the adjacent. Jock arrived at primary school soon after breakfast, and they parked discreetly. Raquel's van came later, bringing Jock kissed Rita's forehead and then said, "I'll take our kids to football." Rita's voice sounded empty and she leaned back. "I am dubious of my capacity to operate today." Jock grasped her hand step by step. She continued to hold his hand while Rita's children went to the fence and waved at the school drop-off. She hugged them and faked a smile. "Enjoy your amazing day." The youngsters climbed the steps without recognizing the suffering that was going on. And Raquel offered Rita. She gave her a soothing kiss on the cheek while keeping an eye on her from behind, saying, "You're doing fantastic." Rita nodded, holding back tears. Yandy walked the she phoned Cole's telephone in the living room of her house, sure that he had left town as promised, and voicemail was heard. "Yandy, I can't do this anymore. I apologize and I'm leaving." With anguish flooding through her, she closed her eyes as if it had burnt her flesh and dropped the phone. She said, "You ruined everything." Cole placed his last items into a duffel bag and traveled across town. His apartment, which had previously been a refuge, was desolate and plagued by whispers, vows, and secret kisses. In an attempt to forget his mistakes, he gathered his keys and locked the door. He wondered how his presence had shattered both Erica and Yandy. He said, "I'll never forgive myself." He made his way to the elevator that would whisk him out of Atlanta and all he had wrecked. Meanwhile, Erica showed up in a studio for a live interview regarding her new book. After introducing her, the host immediately addressed the unstated topic. Erica, this week your book Loyalty Betrayal will be available in bookstores. Did you anticipate this kind of backlash? With a clear voice, Erica exhaled truly. All I wanted to do was inform yes, I was aware of the issue, yet I believe it is vital to express the truth. Even if it causes agony, the audience pushed forward as the host nodded. Are you sorry? He said. Erica let out a sigh. I lament the disintegration of the friendship between Rita and Yandi. I'm sad a whole family had to go through that, but I have no regrets about disclosing the truth. Darkness must sometimes be lit. Social media explosion. Our youngsters will demand meals. Allow me to manage it. Did not respond. He leaned down and caressed a strand of hair away from her face. I adore you. Sorry, Yandy cringed at what was said. I'm not sure if I'll ever be able to trust you again. Kirk shut his eyes. I'll attempt to rebuild that trust every day. Producers debated the time frame on the show's set. Should we utilize B-roll in lieu of Yandy scenes? One producer questioned, another offered a head shake. No. Her confession must. A follow-up interview will be recorded. How do you plan to? One of the planned inquiries was how would you reply to Rita's supporters? Are you asking for pardon? The workers swarmed as they made their last despite her shaky hands as she stepped in front of the camera. Yandy agreed to film her. Follow up in the studio that evening with empathic eyes. The presenter welcomed her. Yandy. The audience is curious about Yandy. Drew a quivering breath and closed her eyes. How has this affair affected your marriage and family? I've done the worst blunder of my life. I'm now away from Kirk. I didn't offer our kids a stable home they deserved in order to focus on restoring what I harmed. I aim to quit the program forever. Sorry, but does not even come close to describing it. Rita, one day I'll stop at nothing to recover your confidence. The host nodded. Many fans are taken aback. The family was separated as a consequence of the overwhelming emotions. What are your thoughts on that? Yandy's jaw quivered. I can understand why people feel duped. Every day I face the same agony. I hope that one day they will realize how devoted I am to developing myself and returning a better person. As she looked off stage, probably expecting to spot Kirk or Rashida sat nearby. As sympathy cameras captured her, Rashida watched from a distance using her phone as Yandi was shooting, weeping, but no one turned up. Her kid slept close to her while she sat on her bedroom floor clutching a pillow. She felt pity after hearing Yandi apologized, but her fury flared quickly. She had the chance to tell me personally, but she decided to escape. Denzel instead. The words were chilly and meaningless when she pushed play on Cole's final voicemail. She determined to protect her family at any costs. She closed her eyes and listening to her infant breathe. Kirk witnessed Yandy's confession. As he was off camera, love, remorse, and hope. I will make every attempt to put this. Kirk arrived home with groceries during the evening rush, stopping at the front entrance. Dining table inside, she lifted her eyesight was obscured by tiredness. Her voice sounded hoarse as she said, there's therapy on the ice. Kirk let out a sigh. I have emailed the schedule to you. Rosa gasped as she read my eviction letter. The food bags were placed on the counter by Kirk. I apologize for keeping. I should have informed you earlier. She stood with her eyes filled with tears. Everything is kept under wraps. I'll then realize that there isn't a mortgage or something. Kirk slumped his shoulders. I'll take care of it, Rita. I vow. She approached him in a hushed voice, and I desire to have trust in you. Kirk extended his hand to steal hers. Let's pay our expenditures together initially. No, he brought her to additional money buried away upstairs to the safe where he had stored their joint bank statements. After she nodded, Jock read bedtime stories to his kid. That evening, poised on the edge, his eyes met his drowsy son's. Is Mama okay? Daddy. Jock took a long breath. Mommy is attempting to recover her breath. Strength, buddy. She loves you beyond everyone else. The boy let out a yawn. Daddy, you are adored. Jock put the book aside and handed his kid a forehead kiss and turned out the light. After sending the children off with Kirk, Yandy snuck inside the home that evening. In the hallway, the door was open. Jock, her makeup was smeared and her eyes were heated. Your children rely on you, Jojo informed them, sobbing. Yandy shut the door. I realize you're frightened. Joker grabbed her into a hug. You must, every day, display this. With his voice, Yandy nodded, his face buried in his shoulder. Erica prepared for a feature on a midday talk program the following morning. Loyalty and honesty are more important than fame. She spoke directly into live television. While the cameras rolled, family may have continued to dwell in dishonesty if I hadn't exposed those communications. Some argue you weaponized personal information. The host said, how do you react? Erica's expression stayed calm. Light and shadow coexistence may sometimes lead to recovery is paved with exposure of in the darkness. I long for the peace of Rita and Yandy. Some fans Erica is very severe. Others applauded she's a truth fighter. The studio audience applauded. Meanwhile, away from reality television, Yandy sat in a local coffeehouse with a notepad, open to exploring different careers prospects. As she glanced through on her phone, she noticed messages from both admirers and reviewers, including one from Kirk, that read, "Therapy tonight." "Yes," she said. I texted back after letting out a breath. "I adore you," she continued. However, the weight of betrayal continues to bear down on her chest. A letter from Cole to Rashida and Kirk was delivered to the family home later that Cole's manager said, "I never meant for my connection with Yandy. I apologize for spiraling into chaos. Complicity this year, I'm offering I donated a percentage of my profits to charity in their honor." Kirk read the message to Rita. Out loud, she drank 2 glasses of coffee cooling while she sat in the kitchen. She answered, "This doesn't change what happened." The note was placed on the table by Kirk. However, it is a starting Rita. People make errors. Cole is no more. Yandy is no longer there. We are. Rita's eyes welled up when she was alone with tears. "I'm exhausted," Kirk reached